Hello everyone, and I'm here today with a review of a published book for Call of Cthulhu, and that is Gateways to Terror, 3 Evenings of Nightmare. I'm not going to be reviewing the specific scenarios that come in this book in this video. I'll go through those in future videos dedicated to the individual scenarios, and I'll cover them in a deep level of detail I wouldn't be able to do here. This review is of the value of this book, and I want to discuss who this book is for and who it's not for. As I go online and I see people asking questions like, oh, I'm just getting into Call of Cthulhu, what should I get? Oh, I only have money to pick up one book, what should I get? I see a lot of people recommending Gateways to Terror. And I don't think that's particularly good advice, and I want to go through why I believe that. I think Gateways of Terror is a good book for certain people playing Call of Cthulhu, but those are two small subsets of people, and I'm going to discuss who they are. So, Gateways to Terror is a PDF you can pick up from the Chaosium website in full color for $13 roughly Canadian. If you want the physical copy, you're going to be paying about $26 Canadian. It is a full color book. It has nice artwork, nice handouts. Has some pictures. And you can see the table of contents there. It's a nicely produced book, as is the case with all of the recent books that Chaosium has put out since their ownership changed a few years ago. And what this book in particular comes with is 3 scenarios. And specifically, they are 3 scenarios designed for convention play. That is to say, they're short scenarios designed to be played in about an hour to showcase the Call of Cthulhu system and certain primary themes of the game. These are not full Call of Cthulhu scenarios. That needs to be immediately noted. And because they're not full Call of Cthulhu scenarios, they lack a lot of things that make up for some of the classic, excellent scenarios in the Call of Cthulhu system, and that is kind of a nice slow build up, a building sense of dread, and also the ability to kind of investigate the horror, investigate the mystery over an extended period of time, building up the clues you have and trying to piece them together to stop whatever threat it is you're facing from transpiring. Call of Cthulhu is generally not a game where you want to end up in combat against the antagonists or antagonists at the end, because they're generally far more powerful than are the player characters. So Call of Cthulhu works really well when it's a game of investigative horror, and none of these 3 scenarios really do that because they're designed for condensed play, and they're designed to facilitate a fun climax where you face off against the monster in the final part of the 1-hour game, which really limits the time you're going to have to collect clues. I also think that this is a book that most people should hesitate to pick up, and they should look at one of the other published Chaosium products, because 2 of the scenarios included in here are available for free on the Chaosium website in earlier form. The difference really is that they're black and white PDFs. There is no capacity to get a physical copy of those scenarios for free unless you're printing them off on your own, stapling them together perhaps. The handouts are obviously then black and white as well. So I'll show you a nice handout in this. So you can see that's a nice handout you could give your players. It's color, it's got lots of nice detail. You're not going to get that from the free PDFs. The handouts are much more rudimentary, they're black and white, and the production values are nowhere near as high. So if you are someone who loves having really cool handouts, if your group of players, you know they love having really cool handouts, then it could be worth paying the premium to pick up at least the PDF of Gateways to Terror. just to be able to provide that to them. What this book is really designed for, though, are people who are going to be running games at conventions and introducing Call of Cthulhu at the convention to people who've perhaps never played it before, or people who have and just want a quick little splash of Call of Cthulhu in their day at the convention. For that, it's a very good book. The scenarios have been gone over. The production quality is much higher. There's a little bit more assistance for a keeper running the scenario than there is in the free PDF. The production quality is higher, and you get nice evocative art pieces such as that one. You also get an additional scenario, the Necropolis, which is set in Egypt, and you will not be able to find a free PDF of that. So if you're planning on running scenarios at conventions for people, you're getting great handouts, 3 scenarios you can run in an hour. They're all somewhat different. The Necropolis is the most different of the 3 being set in Egypt. The other 2 are both nominally set in the US and kind of involve looking into what's going on in a single location. The Necropolis, you're also looking into what's going on in a single location, but it's basically within a pyramid, so that's different and interesting. The only other thing you're going to get that you're not going to get with those free PDFs is an introduction. And this could potentially be useful for newer players as well as people running convention games, because it goes over what the book is, what the scenarios are, that they're designed to be played in roughly 1 hour. But more importantly, it has advice on explaining the rules to people who've never played Call of Cthulhu before. And not everyone is good at explaining games to people, explaining things in easy to understand terms, condensing things down to the important information to not overwhelm people, or just explaining things with examples that people are easily able to pick up on. So the introduction is very nice in that it kind of goes through what things you should explain at what points of the game, and then what things you shouldn't worry about. Less useful for someone experienced running Call of Cthulhu, but more useful for someone new to running the game, is going to be just some basic suggestions kind of in this preparation and running the game chapter of what you should do as you run the game. So it tells you, make sure you read through the scenario before you run it. Make sure you maybe discuss with your players what kind of themes they think are cool in horror games. So maybe you can try to bring those to the fore. Make sure you try to kind of share the spotlight, or shine the spotlight rather, on all of your players and share that attention with all the participants of your game rather than kind of focusing a lot on one person. That's going to detract from the experience for others potentially. It kind of discusses, maybe what might be some things to do if your players go off track. So that, I think if you've run a lot of Call of Cthulhu before, if you're the kind of person who's using this book to run these scenarios at conventions, that's not going to be as useful to you. You are probably going to have a grasp of how to handle that. But if you're a new player, that little section has some potential utility. What I will say, though, is if you are picking this up to teach yourself how to run Call of Cthulhu, to introduce your group to Call of Cthulhu, there's a much better product available to do that. And that is the Call of Cthulhu starter set. That's going to work your way through an understanding of the rules by having you play the solo adventure Alone Against the Flames, which is also a free product available on the Chaosium website in PDF. And I discuss all of these scenarios actually in my video of how you can play Call of Cthulhu for 2 months for free, and you can find that in my video description. But it has that solitaire scenario, and it comes with a condensed rule book as well. So you're going to be able to have your little condensed rule book, play through your solitaire scenario, and teach yourself the rule system. And then it has 3 scenarios that you can run for your group. One is for a single player, and that is Paper Chase, which is an excellent scenario. There is then Edge of Darkness, which is one of my favorite Call of Cthulhu scenarios. I believe it is the best Call of Cthulhu scenario for introducing a new group of players, introducing their characters to each other, introducing your players to the game of Call of Cthulhu, the themes of Call of Cthulhu. It's an excellent scenario. It's a scary scenario. It has a good potential for investigation and piecing together what's going on. It also has capacities to work around that if your players aren't doing that, if they miss an important clue. It has it built into that scenario, how you can still make things work out all right for them. It has an excellent climax, and it should have a low level of lethality, which is really good for a group being introduced to Call of Cthulhu, because it can be a very deadly game. It's also a much longer scenario. Both it and Paper Chase are much longer scenarios than any of the 1 hour scenarios that come in here. And as such, they're much deeper and richer scenarios. And obviously, they're just giving you better value for your money because you're getting more hours of play out of your purchase of them. The final scenario in the starter set is Dead Man Stomp. And that's a fun scenario. It's slightly railroaded, but it has excellent themes, excellent individual scenes that will evoke great horror, and your players should enjoy. I think every scenario that comes in the starter set is just a much better Call of Cthulhu scenario than any of these three. They're much longer scenarios. They're much richer scenarios. I think they capture the themes of Lovecraftian horror much better than these three. And if you are looking to pick up Call of Cthulhu, try it out. That is what you should be picking up if you are buying a product. I will cover that starter set in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Your other option, if you want to use some of these scenarios, and if you want to try the system without paying anything to see if you like it and if it's working for your group, is you're going to want to check out my video, how to play Call of Cthulhu 2 months for free. There's 8 free scenarios you can use. If you play 1 a week, you are going to be playing Call of Cthulhu with your group for 7 of those weeks, with yourself playing the solitaire scenario for 1 of them. You're going to be playing 2 months of free Call of Cthulhu. And you're going to be playing 2 of the scenarios that come in this book for free. So, to conclude, if you're looking to get into Call of Cthulhu, I think there are better places to look than this book. That said, there are people this book's going to be useful for. If you know your group is interested in trying role-playing, but people have really busy schedules, it's hard to get people together, the fact that these scenarios are simplified and are really only going to be an hour long is actually an asset in your case, and this may be a good product for you to pick up. The other group of people who this is going to be good for, and if you're one of those people, you probably already know this, is people who are interested in running these scenarios at a convention. This is a good product for you. The handouts are much upgraded over the free handouts available in the free PDFs. It's just a color product which looks better. The handouts look better. The maps look better. It's just nicer to read a book that's in color and nicely put together like this. And if you're someone who maybe has had trouble explaining the system to new players in the past, there's nice advice for you in the introduction that perhaps you can incorporate into your kind of pre-game and throughout the game explanation of the rules to players. There you have it. There's Gateways to Terror. I hope this video was useful. If you're interested in any of the 3 scenarios that come in Gateways to Terror, I will cover them all in future videos in more detail. I have run 2 of them. They are fun scenarios, but that said, I don't think they are the strongest examples of what Call of Cthulhu can be, just because of their brevity and the fact they're designed to kind of get you into combat within that 1 hour session. If you found this video useful, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, please feel free to share in the comments. If you know someone planning on looking into running Call of Cthulhu for your group, give this video a share with them. It should direct them towards maybe better avenues to start out than picking up Gateways to Terror. And yeah, I hope the video was useful and informative. And until I'm back, happy gaming.